The anticipation for Elden Ring's first major DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, was immense, and rightly so. After spending countless hours immersed in the vast and unforgiving world of the Lands Between, players now have the opportunity to explore a new dimension of this epic saga. Here is my detailed experience with this expansion, which undoubtedly redefines the meaning of challenge and discovery in the Elden Ring universe. The first thing I noticed upon entering Shadow of the Erdtree was the dramatic change in the color palette and overall atmosphere. The new areas are shrouded in a golden mist, with the Erdtree itself casting sinister shadows that permeate the entire environment. The sense of urgency and danger is palpable, with Gothic architecture and ancient ruins adding a layer of mystery that is both unsettling and fascinating. One of the most impressive areas is the Vale of Shadows, a vast plain filled with twisted trees and spectral creatures. The sense of desolation is intensified by the ambient sound effects, like the whispering wind and the distant moans of hidden enemies. This vale is filled with hidden secrets, and the dense fog often conceals unexpected dangers. Exploring this vale made me feel as if I was constantly on the edge of a precipice, each step meticulously calculated to avoid deadly ambushes. Another highlight is the area of the abandoned catacombs, an underground labyrinth that challenges even the most experienced explorers. These catacombs are a testament to the intricate level design that From Software excels at. The narrow corridors are filled with traps and enemies hiding in the shadows, ready to strike when least expected. The sparse lighting creates a claustrophobic atmosphere that heightens the tension at every turn. But it doesn't stop there. The DLC presents ancient forests where the trees seem to come to life, attacking players who venture unprepared. The dense vegetation and rugged terrain make navigation challenging, and the enemies here are especially adapted to use the environment to their advantage. This grove is home to some of the most challenging new enemies, including the Forest Guardians, who combine agility and brute strength in their attacks. Of course, there is also an urban setting, but one that is extremely ruined and exudes a melancholic beauty. The ruins of grand buildings and time-worn statues tell stories of a lost civilization. Urban exploration is a continuous discovery experience, with each street and square revealing hidden secrets, from valuable artifacts to powerful enemies guarding the city's riches. The ambient music, composed of sad melodies and distant echoes, perfectly complements the atmosphere of decay and nostalgia. Gameplay in Shadow of the Erdtree retains the essence of Elden Ring, but with some intriguing additions that further enrich the experience. One of the main innovations is the Shadow Echoes mechanic. These echoes are fragments of memory scattered across the map that, when activated, allow players to glimpse the past, revealing hidden secrets, shortcuts, and even historical events that deepen the game's narrative. This mechanic not only enriches exploration, but also adds a layer of complexity and immersion to the story. The difficulty has clearly been adjusted to challenge even the most experienced players. Common enemies now have more complex and unpredictable attack patterns, often ambushing the player in groups, requiring careful strategies and tactical combat. New enemy types have been introduced, such as the Veil Haunters, spectral creatures that can pass through walls and become invisible, making each encounter a test of reflexes and planning. Missions in Shadow of the Erdtree are more dynamic and interconnected, often leading to unexpected encounters and events that change the course of the narrative. One example is the series of missions related to the Shadow Guardians, where the player must track and defeat these powerful enemies scattered across different areas, each guarding a piece of an ancient artifact. These dynamic events add a sense of unpredictability and urgency to the game, keeping the player always alert and engaged. Exploration is even more rewarding with the introduction of new items and tools that facilitate navigation. For example, the Shadow Lantern is an item that illuminates dark areas and reveals hidden passages, essential for exploring the abandoned catacombs. Additionally, the new Shadow Marker system allows players to mark points of interest on the map, helping to plan exploration routes and avoid getting lost in the most labyrinthine areas. Shadow of the ERDTREE also introduces new mounts, such as the Mist Spectre, an ethereal creature that can traverse terrain inaccessible to other mounts. Mounted combat has been enhanced with special abilities exclusive to these new mounts, offering more strategic options during battles. Fighting on horseback against hordes of enemies or in epic duels against bosses provides a sense of freedom and power, expanding the gameplay possibilities. The new spells and abilities introduced in Shadow of the ERDTREE offer a variety of options for all play styles, from spells that manipulate darkness and cause continuous damage to enemies, to physical abilities that allow devastating blows with shadow-infused weapons. The versatility of these new abilities encourages players to experiment with different combinations and tactics, enriching the combat experience. This DLC is not just an expansion but an evolution of what made the base game so special. The immersive atmosphere, intense challenges, and incredibly well-designed bosses make this DLC a must-play experience for any Elden Ring fan. Every moment in Shadow of the ERDTREE is a mix of wonder and terror, and the satisfaction of overcoming its challenges is unmatched. Shadow of the ERDTREE offers one of the most rewarding and demanding experiences I have ever had in the world of gaming. If you are ready to test your limits and get lost again in the fascinating world of Elden Ring, this DLC is a must-have.
Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light?
I presume you, too, are keen to know just what kind Mikola is doing here.
Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death in the embrace of Mesmer's flame.
Come now, touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again. Mikula the Kind spoke of the beginning. The seduction and the betrayal. An affair from which gold arose. And so too was Shadow born. What followed was a war unseen. One that could never be put to song. A purge without grace or honor. The tyranny of Mesmer's flame. And so kindly Mikula would abandon everything. His golden flesh, his blinding strength, even his fate. But we are not deterred.
If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and
We
subscribe
choose
to
to
the channel
follow.
for more content. A big hug and see you tomorrow.